What's going on YouTube, bro? We're back with another banger. All right, so today's video, well, actually we're gonna start with saying thanks. We're at 40 subscribers, so, well, 41 actually, but we doubled my subscriber count since I started again, which hype as hell. Welcome, really appreciate you guys. Right, also at 100 subscribers we're gonna do a giveaway. I don't know what yet, but we're gonna do it. Not to have you guys subscribe, but to show my appreciation for you guys. All right, we're back. All right, but today's story is a banger. All right, it's time I got high for a week straight. Well, just twice. Oh my gosh, who is this? Boom. All right, so a little bit of background context. I got high a few times before this with a different group of friends, right? We were taking 7 milligram edibles, and that was getting me pretty good. Okay, I want to say I'm a lightweight, and you can make fun of me all you want, but let me tell you, not having to drink a lot of alcohol or taking a lot of edibles is nice. Well, except for this story, of course. But so, I was like seeing gray walls, and I'm like, ooh, like the 7 milligram. I was like, oh, like occasionally I'd be like, oh, this is not fun actually. So then I'm like, I'm never doing this again. So my friend that he does a lot of weed, sorry, Kane. Yeah, Kane, he's like, well, you gotta get high with me one last time. I'm like, okay, I mean, do I really? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, fine. You're like one of my best friends. Fine, I guess so. And we didn't have like a set date, nothing like that. But we were like, it's gonna happen, right? And then we both worked at Chipotle. He doesn't work there anymore. He quit. But so story goes, it was just a Saturday morning, because we worked morning shift at the time, and he was like, Gabe, today's the day. I'm like, all right, bet, let's do it. I want to get this over with and never do this again, right? I'm like, you got some good stuff for me? And he goes, I got you, bro. I got you. Just don't you worry. And I'm like, bet. So, we finished working. It's Saturday, so it's the busiest day of the week for no reason. Well, actually, that's not true. People love going to Chipotle on a Saturday for some reason. But anyway. And then after we get done with work, I go home, shower up. I'm like, this night's going to be okay. I don't think it's going to be super great, but it's going to be all right. You know what I mean? So I start driving over. We're just going to meet at our buddy Nolan's house, right? We're going to meet at our buddy Nolan's house, and it was going to be Nolan, Kane, and Kane's girlfriend, right? And I don't want to name drop Kane's girlfriend because we're not friends like that. So, but anyway, so we go there, we meet there at the house, and we're like, we're hyped, bro. This is gonna be good. We're like, Kane's got the good stuff, like the Michigan edibles, and we're like, apparently that's the good stuff. I don't know anything about this, right? And the story will tell. All right. So we're going, and Kane's like, all right, here's 150 milligrams. I'm like, I don't know if I can take that much. Like, I'm pretty sure they were doing 7 milligrams. And Kane's like, it must have been like 70 or something. Like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I was not fine. Anyway, take it. I'm like, for 30 minutes. Like, of course, if you've never taken an edible before, like, you take it, and like 30 minutes later, it finally like hits you, right? And I'm taking, I'm like, I might need to take another one. Good thing I didn't. Right? I was like, I might need to take another one. I'm not feeling it. Or it was more like 40 minutes later even, right? Because the usual period where it like hit, like it wasn't hitting, and I'm like, whatever, right? It's probably just my body like trying to fight this shit off, because it's like, yeah, we're dead. We're gonna die here, right? So I take it, and then like 30 minutes later, or like 40 minutes later, we're driving around, and then we arrive at the Dairy Queen, like in my like Canal Park area, which is just like a beach area, like downtown type of area. It hits in the middle of DQ, in the middle of me eating my cone. I'm like just a chocolate dip cone, and I'm like, oh. And like it's not like a slow little, no, it hits you like a truck, right? It just boom. So I'm sitting there, and like I'm just like everything's starting to sound quiet. I'm just like, this sucks. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna finish eating this. I can't, right? I'm like, fuck. I'm sitting there, and they're like, you know, they're talking, they look over. I'm just like, not saying anything, just like, right? So they're like, Gabe, you good, bro? You good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know, I'm just feeling it a little bit. I lied. I'm just feeling it a little bit. Right? So they're like, we should probably go back to the car now in case, you know, it hits him pretty hard. Right? And like at this point, I can't really understand that much what they're saying. Yeah, that's how much it hit me, right? I'm like, all right. I start walking. Oh, dude. Getting to the car, I almost like, my stomach started shooting pain. I'm like, oh, this hurts bad, bro. This hurts bad. So I finally get in the car. I'm just like, and then like, this is when I like enter another universe. I mean, you guys heard a little bit about it from just, you know, I said it in the hello again part 1 video, right? So, you know, it's hidden. It's like, oh no. So I'm in the back seat, just like, and I start going into another universe. Like trying to describe it. It's like, the background of the universe I was in was like Super Mario Galaxy, but like just tons of like fucked up like kaleidoscope shit, and like it's all moving. I'm just sitting there like, and then like my stomach starts hurting. I'm like, I need to breathe. So I open the car. I'm just going, trying to get for air, right? And I'm like, fuck, this shit sucks, bro. I'm like, just trying to breathe for air. For me, it felt like hours upon hours that we were sitting in that parking lot, just closing the door, just like, please go to sleep, please go to sleep, please go to sleep. You know, and I'm like, fuck, this shit sucks. But like, they're trying to talk to me. Like, I can hear them talking. It's such a weird feeling because I can hear them talking, you know? But like, I don't know what they're saying, right? They're like, well, I heard a little bit like, Gabe, are you good? But I could, like, literally, it's not like a, oh, like if I speak, I'm gonna like throw up. Like, I could not speak. I'm just sitting there like, I think, I don't really remember that much, right? So I'm like, I do remember them going, I think we should just drive around, mate. See if that'll help them feel better. And they're like, Gabe, you want to drive around? Of course I'm, right? So they're, you know, I'm not saying anything. They're like, yeah, we should probably just drive around. So we drive around. I do remember us stopping just like, who knows where. We stopped 3 times. And one time I think we were just like in like a state park, like in our area. And I remember waking up, I'm like, trees? What the hell? I'm like, like I was falling asleep, but like the weird thing about falling asleep because I was greening out, by the way. I was beyond greening out, right? Weird thing about falling asleep while I was greened out was like, I was definitely like asleep, but like I could still hear everything. It sucked, right? It sucked. But I'm just in the back falling asleep and occasionally wake up like, where are we? My head is just killing me, right? So, you know, we're driving around and finally like, yeah, we should probably just like drop him off at a house so he can just sleep in a bed, right? Because fair enough, you know, makes sense. So we go over to Nolan's house, and then Kane's girlfriend hits the, man, you guys gotta get out. Me and Kane want to do some stuff in the car. And I'm like, well, I'm not like anything. All right, I'm not like anything, but I bet you Nolan is like, wow, you're really gonna hit me with this, right? Kane was also just like, he wasn't like me. He wasn't mad at me because, you know, he does it a lot, but you know, he was feeling it pretty hard, you know what I mean? So I'm in the back still sleeping, and they wake me up and I'm like, what? And then they're like, this is when I remember this more now, because at this point I'm not like, I'm going down, but I'm still like, I should say like, it's like a, I was here in that parking lot, and then now I'm like here, but now we're like flatlining. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not getting better, but you know, we're still fucked. You know what I mean? We're pretty fucked right now, right? So I'm like, I don't think I can move, bro. Like, if I move, I'm gonna vomit, right? And they're like, well, let's just get to your car. Let's sit in the car for a little bit. So get out of the car, get out of Kane's girlfriend's car, and they go off to whatever. Kane also has a curfew, right? We started this at like 7 p.m., right? Kane has to be home by like 10. He was still a minor at this point, so, you know, whatever, right? I regret everything in this story. So is awkward. So I'm gonna like cut that so much in the video. But so you know, I'm just chilling. I'm like, fudge, dude. We finally get to the car. We barely make it to my car. I'm like, I'm gonna vomit, right? I opened the door. I'm like, I don't want to vomit in my car. I don't want to vomit in my car. You know, Nolan's sitting next to me. He's on TikTok in my passenger seat. I'm not driving, by the way. Not driving, right? Or maybe I was in the passenger seat. I can't remember, right? But I'm sitting in my car. I'm just kind of like, right? Just like, trying to breathe for air occasionally, opening my door, trying to breathe for air. It's like, it's not cold outside per se. It's like April, which is weird why it wasn't cold, but whatever, right? Like, I also had a sweater on. Like, I wasn't worried about it being cold. I was too fucked for that, right? Occasionally, if I close my eyes, I go back into that universe, and I'm just like, bruh, this shit sucks, right? So, you know, chilling, and then Nolan's, I don't know the timeline anymore. At this point, no idea what time it is, right? Nolan's like, we gotta get you inside, because my parents see me out here, we're fucked, right? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I can make it inside, right? And he's like, well, we gotta get you inside, right? So, you know, he's like, all right, follow me. So we get out, I'm moving, I'm like, my stomach's starting to hurt, right? We make it to his basement where we're doing it, and he's like, I'm like, my stomach does not feel good, Nolan. And he's like, get to the bathroom quick. So we just make it to the bathroom. I vomit on the bathroom floor. I did not make it to the toilet, right? I go, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. And he's like, you know, he's pissed because I'm also way too high to like do anything, right? I can barely speak again, right? So, you know, whatever. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna get stuff to clean it up. I throw up again on the bathroom floor. I'm like, because this is a horrible feeling, right? At this point, it's not a horrible feeling just because of the feeling that I'm having. It's also a horrible feeling because I just vomited all over the floor and there's nothing I can do about it, right? And I'm not the kind of person who should be like, well, that sucks. Now you gotta clean it up because I don't know how to do anything. I would usually just help clean up, but I'm just sitting there like leaning against the wall. I feel obviously a lot better now. Still not like, I'm still very much like, oh, right? But my stomach doesn't hurt anymore. Like, I can walk around. So I make it to the couch, or I have to watch him clean it up. Let me tell you, that's not a fun experience. I vividly remember this, and it's just not something you ever want to experience, right? So I'm watching him clean it up, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's fine, right? Obviously, he doesn't feeling that way, but obviously it's not my fault, right? Like, it partly is, but it also partly isn't my fault, right? Because everybody else in the car was experienced with this kind of stuff. I wasn't. And I was like, I don't know, guys. And they're like, you'll be fine, right? Who am I gonna listen to? Me? Which I definitely should have. From now on, I will, right? I'll just take it slow with everything like this. I don't actually do this. It's all a story. It's not. Obviously he's pissed, but like whatever, right? We're chill now. It's fine. It's whatever, right? He's not really mad at me because at the end of the day, he doesn't think it's my fault, right? So, and I finally lay down. I pass out. You know, I pass out. I'm like, thank God this is over. Like, I had a little bit of thinking, but then I passed out. And I wake up. I'm like, if I open my eyes and I'm still feeling high, I'm gonna die, right? Also, I want to point out, the next day is Easter, right? The next day is Easter. I have to go to another ski captain's house to make like cards that we did, right? I also have to, people are coming over to my house because it's Easter and we're having like an Easter dinner kind of thing, or Easter lunch more like, but we call it dinner. We don't know why. And then I also have a party after that, right? So I'm like, well, good news. So I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm still feeling it. Not in terms of like, oh, I'm like my stomach hurts or anything. I'm still feeling it in terms of like, I like everything's blurry, like in my peripherals, you know, like more blurry than normally is, I mean. And like, I'm high, you know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, dude. And I'm like, but I'm not like normal high, I'm beyond high, right? I'm like, fuck, dude. So I'm like, well, and he's like, yo, what? Well, actually, I think he woke me up. I'm like, dude, I'm still feeling it. He's like, what? And I'm like, well, I gotta get home, right? I gotta get home. I don't know what time it was, but he's like, you gotta leave before my family gets here, right? Otherwise, like, I'm fucked. You know what I mean? I'm like, fair enough. So I driving home. I'm like, I definitely shouldn't be driving right now, right? Definitely should not be driving right now. So I'm driving home, and making home. I'm like, yeah, what's going on, guys? Like, my parents, dude, I'm sorry, love them, but you know their parents. You get stuck in unskippable dialogue. I'm just like, I'm so tired. I was lying, right? Sorry if you're watching this. Actually, I think I've told this story before to you guys, right? It sucks, right? But definitely not in this detail. So I go to my room, I take a nap, I'm right, wake up again, I'm like, you know, in hopes that I'm better. I'm in fact not better when I wake up. I'm exactly the same even, right? Also, my eyes are like, everything's super stimulating at this point, right? So I'm like, fudge. And people are coming over, I'm like, also, there's the 2 little cousins that come over and they love me, right? So I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh, this sucks. And they're like chatting to me, you know, I just pass it off as I'm tired and it worked, right? I'm pretty sure my brother and his girlfriend realized something was up, right? Because I'm usually like, yeah, I'm you know, a little like not talkative to my family sometimes, but like this was beyond that, right? I was kind of just like, yeah, and you know, my uncle and aunt are talking to me too, and I'm just like, yep, right, and my grandpa's over, and it's like, yep, you know, they probably seemed as rude, but if they were in my situation, they would understand, you know what I mean? But they weren't, and I'm not gonna just drop, yeah, I'm so high right now at an Easter dinner with my family, you know what I mean? So, and I'm like, all right, so that goes by. I take a nap because the Easter party's at like 8 or something, right? And we had this dinner at like 1. So I take another nap basically until like 7. And I wake up again and I'm like, I'm still like, it's the same. I'm like, bro, how is this? Well, good news. Don't gotta get fucked up at the Easter party. I had school the next day too. So, you know, I'm like, fuck. Right, I'm like, well, I wasn't gonna get fucked up anyway, right? Because that means I'd have to stay home, or that means I would have to stay there and whatever, right? But so I get to the Easter party, I'm like, yo, how's it going? So this is funny. Actually, this was the first time I met Hinge Girl, right? So it kind of ties into the, you know, stories before. It's the first time I met Hinge Girl, and I was like, yo, what's up, right? And she you know, I was telling the story and everybody's just dying because they think it's so funny. And I'm like, this is not funny, guys. This is beyond funny. I'm high, but like I can go on my phone and stuff. Like it's a weird feeling, right? It's a really weird feeling. If somebody else knows what it is, it's fine. But it's a really weird feeling where it felt like I was high, but like I wasn't actually high. Does that make sense? Later in the story, I'll, you know, describe it better because somebody knew what was happening to me, and he actually helped me like get rid of it. But anyway, so I'm just like, oh, you know what I mean? And everybody's like, that's funny, Gabe. The Hinge Girl clung to me the entire time, right? She might never admit it, but she clung to me the entire time, you know, going around. We were talking a little bit before this, you know what I mean? This was the week before our date, so our first date, so whatever. She clung to me the entire time, right? And whatever. So we go through, you know, I'm just going, I'm like, I gotta go home, I got school tomorrow. I'm like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, we're gonna feel good, right? Wake up the next day? Hell no. I feel no better. It's not like a little bit, no better. I'm also in track at this point, so I'm like, well, I can't run like this, right? I can't run like this. So I have to basically repeat this for the entire week until Saturday. Well, actually, okay, I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. So Wednesday, try my first ever panic attack. So I'm just in the lunchroom, right? Because it's high school. I'm a senior in high school, right? I'm, you know, whatever. I'm like, this sucks. And I'm eating. I'm like, I go to the bathroom. My stomach does not feel that good. So I go to the bathroom, you know, right? Makes sense. So come back. I'm like, oh, this is overstimulating. Oh, this sucks. I think as a senior and a junior at my high school, you could leave out for lunch, right? So, you know, I think the past 2 days I just leave it out, and this is the first time I was just eating lunch because I'm like, I'm kind of broke, right? Low-key, because I only work 2 days a week, and low-key, like 70% of my like spending budget goes to food, right? So I'm just, I'm like, oh, this is bad, oh, and then my ears start ringing, bro. I start like, my ears start ringing. I start like hyperventilating because the bells ring, everybody's going. I'm like going to my study hall class, right? Because I have study hall and like lunch. Like I have study hall before my lunch, so I just go out for lunch, or I just eat the first lunch, right? I have the second lunch. So, and so everybody's like, Gabe, you good? Because I'm sitting in the chair like, I put some white noise on my headphones that I have, right? And I just like slowly calm down. I'm like, that sucked. Like, I thought I was dying, right? Like, ears ringing, vision getting blurry, hyperventilating, can't breathe. I'm just like, the only reason I think it's a panic attack, and I'm almost certain, is because I was telling somebody about it. They're like, yeah, that's just a panic attack. I'm like, oh. Because at this point, like, I kept waking up, not getting better. People were telling me, do this, do that. Nothing's working, right? And I'm like, I could be like this forever. And if so, like, this sucks, right? I hate living like this. I'm never doing this again. Not a chance, right? So, yo, I think I got something for you. They might have been laced. I'm like, oh, that's great. But they weren't, because everybody else was fine. Kane was a little fucked, but everybody else was fine, right? So he makes me this tea. I'm like, bet. I finally wake up the next day. I'm like a little better, right? Shout out to Noah for at least trying to help, right? Love you for that, brother. Also, didn't go to practice the entire week because I was beyond cooked, right? But Saturday morning comes around. I have to work, right? I'm like, so this is gonna suck. It's gonna beyond suck. So I get to work. I go to my manager. I'm like, bro. Like, I was a manager too at the time. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, bro. I'm cooked right now. And he's like, still? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, actually, this happened to my ex-fiance once. And I'm like, bro's just dropping this out of nowhere. He was at the Easter party, by the way. He was at the Easter party, right? And he's like, this happened to my ex-fiance once, right? So essentially, you get yourself so high that you're sick. It's like an actual sickness, but obviously, like, you're not coughing or anything, right? I'm like, what? You're just telling me this now? I guess I didn't go into work or anything the days before, right? And he's like, all right, so here's what you're gonna do. Get a loaf of bread, eat all of it, and drink like so much water, right? You need to get your system flushed out. The bread will soak some of it up, right? You got to get the shit out of your system as fast as you can. So that day, try a loaf of bread and 2 gallons of water, right? I wake up the next day, I'm like, I'm better. I'm like, let's go. I was joking to people. I'm like, if I wake up the next day, I'm better. I'm gonna cry, right? I'm gonna cry. I wake up the next day, I'm like, oh, I'm better, bro. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, never taking that shit again. It's been offered me multiple times. I'm like, hell no. And also a little thing too is like, I've gotten drunk a few times after that, more than a few times, but like the few times after that, like it was to the point where like I was like starting to freak out. I'm like, oh no, like that's how much it like fucked up my brain. You know what I mean? And I think what happened was like literally like it fried my brain, and my brain just had to reset itself. Like obviously I don't know anything about weed, but like it completely not like fried, but like it completely like shot my brain. And my brain just had to reset itself, and it needed time. You know what I mean? Because I was like sick. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's that, and I'm like, let's go. But the few times after that I got drunk, I was like freaking out. Thank God for Hinge Girl, right? She did calm me down. She actually did help me calm me down, right? Like, don't freak out, you're fine. You know what I mean? Not she didn't say that, but like she like helped me like basically do that. You know what I mean? So that's hype. Yeah, so that's the story. I hope you enjoyed it. For me, it's funny to tell them. I love telling my friends now, because they're always are like new people that I'm becoming friends with, and they're always just like dying. Like, that's so funny, Gabe, right? And I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I got a few more stories. Well, I got quite a few stories that I got to tell, but I figured I'm gonna start with this banger of a story, right? Because it's amazing. I like to, love that. I like to thank everybody, for subscribing, watching my videos. I think these are pretty good videos to watch just like in the background. So, helps my viewership if you do that. Like the video if you like it, comment. I realized the hello again video, I didn't realize if you made it for kids. I did that, so like, whatever, because that's what I thought you should do, but apparently you shouldn't. I thought that was like it'd recommend it to more people. No, it just gets rid of comments and you can't use the mini player on it. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Okay, my fault. I didn't know how to edit it, so I didn't edit it. It's gonna stay that way, I guess. Yeah, so I'd like to thank everybody for subscribing. Like, comment, subscribe if you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day, guys.